What is up? Welcome back to the third episode of Peak Arkansas podcast. I can't believe we're already on this far into the series. It's been a great experience for me. I hope it's been a great experience for you as the listener, wanting to know more about the some of the nice peaks in Arkansas in our state parks. And I'm very excited for today's episode where we are going to feature Pinnacle Mountain State Park. Starting off, if you can somehow manage to get to the top of this steep mountain, that's a accomplishment in itself. But once you do journey to the top of this huge and beautiful mountain, just take a minute and look around. You might see, well, you'll definitely see, like Maumelle, parts of Little Rock, and large parts of the Arkansas River Valley, and even to the south-facing the Shinall Mountain, which we won't feature in this series, but it is still viewable, or can be seen from the top. That's crazy, in just a short mile or so walk, mile and a half walk, maybe 2 miles. I would have to double check, but that's not the purpose of today. This isn't a hiking podcast, so to speak, but all that scenery is visible from up there. Standing at the top, you're actually intersecting four different regions. The Ouachita Mountains, the Arkansas River Valley, the Mississippi Alluvial Plains, and the Gulf Coast Plains. And the mountain you're standing on, of Pinnacle Mountain, that this whole mountain is a result of the geology around, Arkansas geology, and a lot of people have believed that it was formed by a volcano, which that would be pretty cool sounding, but it's not. But it still has a pretty cool origin of being a result of thrust faulting. And a way to imagine that process is like if you had two pieces of paper being pushed together side by side, and instead of just the edges meeting, and you can't push any further, one will overlap the other, to and it causes a point to rise, and forming the mountain, which may not be as cool as a volcano, but I sure do feel a whole lot better standing on top of it, knowing that it's not a volcano beneath my feet. And so we've got how the mountain was established, right, through a thrust fault. And so let's move on to more of the historical part or story of this mountain. Whenever you view the Arkansas River from up there, similar to Mount Nebo, our Mount Nebo episode, and our Lake Ouachita episode, this mountain was used by Native Americans as well. I think specifically used by the Quapaw Native Americans, if I remember correctly. It was used for hunting and gathering, as well for navigation, for traveling. And so the mountain that you use for recreation was often a means of, could have been used for survival purposes, or if someone was lost, they can look for it. And so keeping that in mind, thinking of course, the hardships that were experienced just mere miles from this area. Let's fast forward to 1973. whenever the state park, Pinnacle Mountain State Park, was established. And so we can, now preserving both the nature and the history of the area. And I have visited the state park, I think twice now since I have moved to Russellville, and have ventured out to that area to do some hiking. But I went in there as a side note, and the visitor center was very nice. It had just been remodeled. And so if experiencing some of Arkansas's history and one of its more interesting geological formations is something you are interested in, which I imagine it is if you're already listening to this podcast, be sure to check out Pinnacle Mountain State Park and hike the trails. There is an easy side to hike, and then also a harder, more advanced side. So be careful in which skill level you pick. But next episode will feature Mount Magazine State Park and the peaks that are there. But once again, thank you so much for listening to the podcast, and stay tuned for the next episode.